Loving that awkward silence while you'll wait for me to sit down. Yeah, nice one. Fucking hell. What? I'm not being funny, I love you guys already, but usually they keep applauding while I do that, you know. Well, fuck me, how's this gonna go then? Shit me. Right, I'm gonna go back in there, I'm just gonna take my shirt off, because fuck it can't get any worse. Oh God, I'm leaving that in the video. Bloody hell. Oh, Jesus. How are we doing, everybody? All right? Good to see you, good to see you. Well, I'd like to say good to see you, but I can't really see. I've got the lights in my eyes. Feel a bit like I'm dying. All I can see is a bright light. I suppose there's not much chance of me walking towards it, though, so I think we'll be all right, won't we? Yeah, well, this is a good start. Yeah, hi, I'm John Porter. I'll just clear up some things before I get going properly, as if I ever get going properly, but still. Yes, I'm John Porter. I have cerebral palsy. I mention that because you've just seen me come on stage, and it's a bit like if I came on with a gun, you'd all be going, what the fucking hell's he doing with that? Speaking of guns, no, I've never met Oscar Pistorius. Don't know him. I think it's fair to say I probably never will now either. I didn't shoot my girlfriend either. Admittedly, I haven't got one, so that does make it quite difficult, but still. I'm a solutions person, not a problems person. People ask me about being a disabled comic, like, is it hard work? No, not really. I don't think we're generally discriminated against, although in fairness, there aren't many venues where you have to climb a fucking spiral staircase to start a gig. Generally, though, I think we have an easier time of it than other groups do, because nobody's ever come up to me and said, I don't normally like disabled comedians, but... So, yeah, I think in general, we get on all right. That said, I have had some very weird experiences being a disabled comic, usually from other comedians. They're a bit fucking strange. You've probably noticed this by now. You've been here long enough. I think this is now a hostage situation, to be honest, but... Because let's face it, I'm not leaving, so... I don't see why you lot should. No, I think generally it's not been too bad. Audiences tend to be fine. You guys take it all in good heart, even if I do rip the piss out of you a little bit. You're not really that bothered. But, like, comedians don't really take to it as well, you know. Somebody came up to me after a gig once and said, do you mind if I ask you what your disability is? And I said, oh, it's cerebral palsy. And he replied, oh, that's not so bad. Oh, yeah, thank you for that, Dr. Shipman. Yeah, apologies, my chronic illness isn't good enough for you, bellend. Oh, Jesus, member of the Tory government he is now, which is no great surprise, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, that can be one thing, you know. It's, generally, though, it's all right, you know. Like, but like I say, I've done material like that, and then afterwards somebody said something like, are you really disabled? And I don't know about you, Manchester, but I think I choose something a bit more fucking interesting to lie about. I mean, it's not even worth it for the money these days. I have to have a full-time job now, so... I do talk about my disability a bit. I'm going to move away. I'm going to... didn't even mean that. That's how fucking good I am. I'm gonna step away. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's no way out of this sentence, is there? I'm not going to do too much about it tonight because I'm conscious of the fact that, you know, I do need to talk about something else occasionally. I can't just ramble on about being a spaz for 10 minutes, and that's fine. Generally, I've only started to think about that recently, and it's largely because of what gets written about me when I read my own reviews. For example, there was one article about me that said, John Porter, disabled heavy set, and I thought, is that a review or a fucking description? It's my favourite joke. It's all downhill from here. But downhill's easier, so we go, don't we? Now, I wanted to talk about some different stuff tonight. Just one other thing to clear up before I carry on. I mentioned about Pistorius, obviously don't know him. I don't know a lot of disabled people. I don't know where the assumption comes from that all disabled people know each other. I don't fucking understand that. I mean, there can't really be a club for disabled people, because, I mean, if there was, where the fuck would we all park outside anyway? consider that one to be an audience intelligence test, and you, let's put it this way, you did better than Wigan did, so that's... No, I love Manchester. One of the things I want to talk about, one of the things I'm very proud of actually, is I found my independence, so I'm already doing better than Scotland. And I live on my own in Manchester now, which is quite cool. Quite proud of that. A few things have cropped up since I moved that I never really expected. For example, I've now started using Netflix, which I never really thought I would. Still haven't really mastered Netflix and chill. Don't really know how to do it by myself. All I can tell you is my bill for tissues has gone up significantly. Get some of that Gilmore Girls on and away you go, you know. But it's got to the point now, actually, where Netflix has started judging me. I fucking hate that part of it. You know, when you've been watching something for, I don't know, maybe about 12 hours in one day, and it says, are you still watching Gilmore Girls? Yes, I am, thanks, dickhead. So yeah, there's that. That's been fun. What else can I tell you about? There's all kinds of stuff, really. There's a lot of things that I never thought I could do, you know, like cooking and things like that. I've done okay for the most part. My mum still checks up on me for a while because she's a little bit worried about me, which I get. Got some very weird text messages from her, though, things like, check your potatoes, which I thought was another testicular cancer sort of thing. And I replied back and said, I did this morning before I went to work, but I don't really like talking about it to you, to be honest. Things like the first time I cooked with my oven in the new flat, I nearly burnt the fucker down. And then midway through that, rather than helping me deal with the crisis, she texts me saying, are you warm enough? Yes, I think I might be. One of the worst things about Netflix, and largely because I don't like following trends, I'm a bit of a punk despite the Springsteen t-shirt, and I tend to like to find my own way through things, so I've got fed up with the recommendations. For example, please stop telling me to watch fucking Bird Box, right? I don't fucking want to watch it, right? If I wanted to watch a bunch of people blindly stumbling their way towards an inevitable conclusion, I'd just watch BBC Parliament. I don't normally do politics. I think I might stick with it now. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not going to go on too much about Brexit. We all know it's shit. We all know how fucking bad it's going to be one way or another, and that's fine. The only thing I would say is if you're concerned about freedom of movement, please don't be. I've been without freedom of movement for 28 years, and I'm doing all right. It's always nice when an audience gets to the punchline before you. Honestly, it's like being in the bar queue or running for a tram for me. It's fucking brilliant. So there's been a lot going on in my life recently, you know, to be honest. I've seen a lot, I've done a lot. I've been doing comedy for quite a while. I've done the Edinburgh Festival a couple of times. That was pretty fun. I must admit, it was quite demeaning, though, to find that actually I was getting less in donations when I actually did my shows than I was when I was walking on the street outside. These Japanese tourists who are convinced that my walking is some sort of experimental street theatre, you know, that kind of thing. I want to just try a little joke on you, see how another audience intelligence test. Have we got any vegans in tonight? We have one vegan, wow. And they say your numbers are growing. Well, Jesus. Well, okay, it's a bit weird doing a joke for one person in the crowd, but fuck it, I've had women in the audience before that hated me afterwards, so we'll see how this goes. I've seen a lot of jokes about vegans, and it's mostly like, how do you know if somebody's a vegan? They'll fucking tell you. I'm bored shitless of that, right? So here's mine. How do you know if somebody does a shit joke about vegans? Don't worry, they'll fucking tell you it. All right, you didn't like it. I don't fucking care, I'm not one anyway. So I mean, like I said, I've done a lot, and I've tried to enjoy myself a little bit, and I'll leave you with a little bit of a chat about, you know, like I said, I do comedy and stuff. One of the things I haven't done and absolutely speak out against as much as I can is doing drugs, right? Because I don't see the point, really. I mean, to be honest, you get a lot of pain with cerebral palsy, and somebody did once suggest to me that if I took cannabis, it might help me deal with the pain. Problem with that, of course, is it makes you really paranoid and makes you think everybody in the room's staring at you. And of course, you got to be mindful that it's a bit of a gateway drug, and you might end up on something harder like cocaine. And apparently, if you take cocaine, you can find yourself jabbering on endlessly to a room full of people. You don't give a fuck what you're saying. And And the worst part about it is apparently it gives you all this pent-up energy, and I mean, what the fucking hell am I going to do with that? So yeah. The last guy was on and he said, you guys have been useful. I think you've been more than useful. You've made a happy man very old. Incidentally, about as old as that fucking joke is, but never mind. Revert to what you know, that's what I say. I'll finish on my Bird and Manning voice. So, they were Easter. Anyway, never mind. Go off now before you get stabbed. I haven't really got much else to say, really. I'm just rambling, to be honest. If you did like me, I'm on Facebook, John Porter Comedy. Give me likes, give me love, give me offers of friendship and dates and whatever. I'm sure you've guessed by now that I'm desperate for human interaction, so to be honest, I'll fucking take anything, and you can guarantee that I'll reply, because, I mean, where else have I got to go? And yeah, that's pretty much it. John Porter Comedy. I'll hopefully see you again, because this has been fucking lovely, and so have you. Have a good rest of your night. See you later.